Hello there! Welcome to the Airgun Supremacy channel. This is my FX Wildcat in .177. Yes, you have seen plenty of FX reviews, but you've never seen mine. We're not gonna go through all the specs. We're not gonna go through all the boring stuff because not that it's boring, it's just factual stuff. You can find that anywhere. Today I'm gonna review my gun. I want you to remember that while you're watching this video. We are reviewing my gun. This gun was purchased with my hard-earned money. This gun has not been provided to the channel by anyone. This is not a sponsored video. It will be honest, brutally so. This is the .177 caliber model in what you all in the UK would call FAC, capable of shooting probably upwards of 22 foot-pound energy. And when I received it, I proceeded to go ahead and shoot it. I bought it secondhand, so it really was clean, and the seller had showed me some very promising groups, so I was very excited. I went ahead and shot it. I was expecting at 20 yards to pretty much just print a little tiny hole. I was rewarded with a spread about like that. 8 shots into a space of about 6 inches or so. I figured I was doing something wrong, and I went ahead and that started the whole saga of me going through this. And today I'm gonna be going through with you as to all the aspects of this gun and how it's shooting today. I will tell you that it's shooting much better. What I had to do to get there loosely, and my thoughts, expectations, hopes, disappointments. We'll go over all that. This will probably be my longest video to date. Hang in there. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. I'm gonna go over some quick features. This is by far my favorite type of magazine. I really am not a fan of those, you know, FX big old drums and things like that. A lot of guys like them because they have a whole bunch of shots, and more power to them. That's great. I think that's fantastic, but I don't care for those things. I kind of like these round ones that are just like a single drum with a few holes in them. I think it probably could have used a couple more shots. 8 is a little anemic, but it's good for hunting. You know, I can see that. Got the side lever right there, right next to the trigger, which a lot of people like. A lot of people like the fact that you have this side lever. It is very nice. It actuates and it closes very well. And the trigger, no problem. It works well. I thought I was gonna like this, and this is not any faults of FX or anything like that. It's not a criticism on FX. It's a popular feature, and it works well for the gun. I just don't like it. I don't care for it. I think that I've learned to like better the side levers back here, believe it or not. We'll talk about that in a little bit. All right. Gun comes with the 11mm rail, and you have an option to get the Picatinny rail for like 120 bucks more. So you know what, for the market here in the States, I think they could have probably put the Picatinny and had a better showing. The shroud, we're gonna be talking about this shroud. The shroud by itself is not very effective. You definitely need the extra moderator that comes on here. But the most important part about the shroud system is not how much it quiets the gun or not. It is the fact that I've learned that if I take it off, I actually get decent grouping with the gun. With it on, they go all over the place. It is very ergonomic. It is easy to work on, relatively easy. Learned that the hard way. It's got a very well thought out cheek rest right here. It is synthetic, doesn't get cold against your face, and it's comfortable. I want to touch up a little bit about the company, FX. FX, I believe, is a very innovative company. They're always pushing those boundaries, pushing and pushing and pushing. My wonder, though, is if they push so much that sometimes things fall over the precipice. And that can happen. That's allowed, I suppose. When you're trying to innovate, you're going to have some things that don't work out very well. I think what's important is to recognize those things and, I don't know, maybe have a recall or something, or say, hey, you know what? We could have done this better, or probably stopped it in production if it wasn't something that showed promise. Basically, I've reached out to FX regarding this gun and its performance, and what I got from them, they did try to help me guide into try this, try that, try the other. And one of the key phrases that I got was, well, yeah, in 177 they are hit or miss. My money, my job, my work is not hit or miss. I work hard, I earn my money, and I'm a family man, father of three. Not acceptable, okay? Not acceptable, not for this price, not for what you are expecting. I've never been a PCP mechanic. I really don't know my way much, or didn't know my way much around and inside PCPs. But I was fortunate enough to have great help. Couple of guys, namely Augie Sotelo. Thank you so much. Owe you a huge debt of gratitude for all the help and support that you've lent me getting this gun dialed in to what it is now, today. Regarding what is not so good about it, and there's plenty of that to go around. What's not so good about it is, first of all, the wandering point of impact. Also, how finicky it is. Some guys ask me, hey, you know, why? Why does it, well, does it shoot well at all? Yes, it shoots well at all, sometimes. But what you have to get there, okay, you have to be pointing Mecca, all the planets aligned, clean the barrel. Did you sort your pellets? Did you blink with one eye, stand on one foot? Did you polish the barrel? Did you change out the regulator? I mean, how many things does an end user have to do for a gun of this price to shoot accurately? Currently, I'm able to put basically 4 or 5 shots in a single hole the size of about 2 millimeters. So it's got huge potential, huge potential. The barrel system, that smooth twist, there must be something to it. It's probably a phenomenal thing. What I think the problem that is happening is you have a sleeve, a little, you ever buy some of those Jetty cups and they have a metal straw? That's what you're shooting through. And then you see some of these big name people, promoting these guns and talking about that system like it's the greatest thing in the world, and talking about harmonic tuning. And essentially, you have a straw that every time you have that explosion of air going through it, it's going like this. And unless you have it just tight the right way, just centered the right way, just placed the right way, just rotate it the right way inside of the barrel, it will not shoot straight. When you do get and shoot it straight, the next time you come out your point of impact might not be the same. And I don't know why that is. Now, these days, the second I put this shroud on it, it starts doing this. Not as bad as before. It's maybe, let's say, inch and a half group with the shroud on. Without it, and by the way, it's very, very loud without the shroud. Don't try it at home. Maybe go out into the woods or something. But without the shroud, we'll take it off. What I have been doing is that I've been placing just a single moderator straight up to it. I'm getting really good performance out of that. Hang tight. Bam. So what you have here is a Donny FL Tanto, a moderator LDC similar to the Vyrock will work just as well and look pretty good with the cone end. If you go ahead and put carbon fiber sleeve over this, it'll give it a nice slick look and it'll pimp it out a little bit. They generally look real good when you do that. Put carbon fiber here, cut it to size. You get those on Amazon. They're about, I don't know, 25 bucks for a couple of them. And the little Tanto actually does a phenomenal job getting this thing hush hush. No problems there. Has never really clipped on me, nothing like that. Incidentally, I was not getting clipping with the shroud on. I really don't know why. The second you put that thing on there, those whatever harmonics just go all out the window and the accuracy goes to hell. I had to work extensively on this gun, extensively. Many hours and a lot of money I put in on top of the original payment I made on the gun. And one of the things that you'll notice, there are certain things that are just proprietary. You cannot just go ahead and replace the doggone gauge that comes on here with a Wicca if that's what you want. No, it won't fit. The cap over here won't close and then you can't charge it, right? You'd have to either modify it somehow or do something in order to make that happen, maybe. I don't know that it's worth it. No, you have to buy theirs, and if you don't like theirs, you're stuck. If you want proof, the pudding, if you will, if you say, you know what, this guy's FOS, I'm not sure, I have 3 FX and they all shoot phenomenal, whatever. And by the way, that is great. I have no problem with that. I am so happy that your gun shoots well, your FX, no doubt. But look around. You have these guys or some people out there, no names, very smart, very industrious in the industry that have come up with little tricks and solutions for certain things. For example, somebody out there has developed and will sell you a carbon fiber liner specifically to go in between the barrel, the Smooth Twist X. Incidentally, that's what this is, Smooth Twist X. This is the MK2. Designed to go in between the barrel liner and the actual Smooth Twist barrel in order to make it stiffen it up. You go ahead and put it on there and epoxy it on or something, glue it on really tight, and you know, put the whole system back together, and now it solves your accuracy problems. That's not what the system was designed for by the manufacturer, but yet you have guys out there, which I applaud, coming out with these solutions for an obvious problem that should be getting taken care of. Now, if you haven't gathered by now, I'm pretty upset. Um, it's been a good experience in a way because otherwise I've never learned. I have learned so much by doing this, but I never intended on any of this. What I intended was just to get my toy and play with it and be happy and smile. Instead, I've had to learn all sorts of things, taking apart a PCP, putting it back together, installing a regulator, you know, learning all these little tricks. So for that, I am grateful to FX. Huge, huge, huge thanks. The talk in town is that FX is coming out with a new barrel system for this particular model N.177. It's called the Superior. That supposedly will fix all these problems, or is quote unquote better. I think that should just be a replacement part. You know, if you own this and you have an original STX, it should just be replaced, like a recall. You know, it's just the right thing to do. We've talked about the good, we've talked about the bad. Let's talk about the ugly for a minute. This particular model comes with a very nice synthetic, very ergonomic stock, lightweight. I mean, it is just wonderful. However, if you needed to tighten or loosen your hammer spring adjuster nut here, you'll have to remove the stock each and every time. Okay, and then that's not enough. The actual nut is this flimsy little threads that you sneeze, you look at it wrong, and it rotates on its own. So you have to put some tight lock or something on it in order for it not to move around. All right? These are things that are not talked about on regular reviews, and frankly, they should. What I had to do, and I'll show you. All right. You basically have to drill your own hole, file it down a little bit, make it look pretty, and then you can adjust it. And when you're going through the initial frustrations of setting this up, you're gonna have to do a lot of that. And that's 2 screws on and off, on and off, on and off continuously just to get to that. So what, in true fashion, there's the MK3 that now has this screw thing on the back that solves that problem, I guess. That's cool, but that doesn't do anything for me. And I'm not either going to applaud nor criticize that model because I don't own it, and I probably will not. Unless something big changes and FX wants to make a believer out of me, then let's talk. What else with the ugly? Yeah, so let's say that you do want to replace that pressure gauge up here that we talked about, and you want to replace it with a new one because, I don't know, you cracked it or you don't think it's accurate enough or whatever. You just want a new one. No, you can't just use a regular open-ended wrench. No, you have to have a special one. It's a special size. You have to either buy one or make your own. You can't just go into your toolbox and dig one out and go ahead and take off your pressure gauge. All right. Another thing that was, I don't know, this is bad, ugly, whatever you want to call it. There was a couple times that I took it apart and I put it back together, and it started leaking for no good reason. The O-rings were good. I didn't mess them up. I just looked at them wrong. They're leaking, so I had to replace them with new ones. It's holding air right now, pretty good. Shooting pretty good. I'm gonna shoot some groups with both the Donnie FL Tanto on here and the original shroud to see how it does. I got a lot of advice when I first started having troubles with this, which was immediately. And if you want to validate anything that I am saying here, just very anonymously go out there and ask, hey, you know, I'm having trouble with the accuracy on my FX. What could be the problem? Man, you're going to have a solution list the size of one of those scrolls that they do in the cartoons where they're going to read off somebody's bad habits. They just roll right down the road like that. And everybody has a solution for you. You know, weigh the pellets, separate them, oil them, clean your barrel, polish your barrel, on and on and on. Index your barrel. Really? So, with all that out of the way, I'm not sure if I missed anything. I will go ahead and shoot some groups for you guys as it's working right now. I will try to find some of the groups that I was doing before. I don't remember if I documented them or not. I really should have, in light of seeing. I typically have not done full-on airgun reviews, and it is really a shame that it has to be my first one, has to be a negative one, but it just pushed me over the edge. I have not had to do anything like this with any of my PCPs, my other PCPs. Heck, I haven't had to do this with any of my brake barrels. Well, I'm lying. Gammo. Yeah, I didn't do anything. I just threw it away. Piece of garbage. Let's shoot some groups. Let's see what it's doing currently. I also plan to do the whole point of impact challenge. I think that point of impact challenge will be interesting on this gun because you've seen my other point of impact challenges with my other rifles, including Springers. So I think it's going to be fun to see how this one compares to that. Very interesting. It has been fairly consistent recently, but still, I haven't done that type of shooting. I've just been troubleshooting most of the time that I've owned it. All right, here we go. First group without the shroud. Have it sitting right here. We'll put that on afterwards. The pellet of choice is the JSB Monsters 13.43 grain. These have proven to be the most consistent ones. One of my favorite pellets is the JSB 1034s, and those things will just spread out like a flower out of this thing. I have not been able to once get those to shoot straight. There's been other pellets like the 844s that have shown good promise, and the H&M Barracuda Match have also shown good promise, but the most consistent of them all, and I'm not gonna go through them all, just take my word for it, these are shooting the best of them all. From everything that I've tested, even with the H&Ns, I've shot the 4.5 head size, and those shoot very well, but not as good, not as tight at all as the 4.52s. Those are extremely good, but not as good as the Monsters. So Monsters it is for today. These are the redesigned, by the way, if you didn't see that in the can. I don't own any of the old styles, so this is what I've been shooting, and this is what I've shown promise, so let's do it. Here's the wind flag for today. There's a little wind, but I'm on a little bit of a hole right here, so we don't get a lot of it. I think it's a fair shooting condition, so very realistic. Let's give it a try. Here is both groups, both at 30 yards with the JSB Monsters 13.43 grain, redesigned. So you can see the better of the two is shown over here with the shroud off. This group was shot with the shroud on. So let's measure those and see what we have. Okay. Center to center, we're looking at 0.3 on this one. And just a little bit above 0.5 on this one. I'm gonna do another group and show what it can do if we do a little more than just say 5 shots. Might tighten up the shroud a little bit to see what it does if I tighten it up. Okay, as you can see, I have the full shroud on. I just shot that group with the shroud on. I put it on lightly. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten it up ever so slightly. Go through a full magazine. There we go. Tightening up. All right, that's about a quarter turn or so. Let's see what you can do. That group right there just made a total liar out of me and a fool, maybe. But I'm actually happy about that. I mean, I bought the gun, I wanted it to shoot well, and it's shooting well during the process of the review, much better than it had been before with the shroud on tight and whatnot. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just keep it on. Shoot sporadically with it, see what it does, and try to see if it just stays consistent, because that's really all I want. I want the gun to shoot, be consistent, and for me to be content and happy with it. All right, let's see what happens. Let's go ahead and see what kind of speeds we're getting out of these monsters, JSB redesigned monsters, out of my current tune. I'm not even 100% sure what I have. My old Pro Chrono took a dump, and I am using a spare one I had. It's a little El Cheapo direct from China one that's actually very good. It picks up and reads extremely well. It only drawback for us in the US is that it measures only in meters per second, and that's totally fine, except that most of us are used to feet per second, and that's what we relate to. But I'll go ahead and transcribe that for you right below. Okay, there it is, 5 shots with the monsters. I'll tally up those speeds and transcribe them into feet per second and get an average and power, etc. And that is a Hornet flying around me. Welcome to the South. I did not film the process of putting the carbon fiber liner on, but I do have a picture of it. If you want to check it out, here it is. It's been about an hour since I put that shroud on, and it's been shooting pretty well with it. I wanted to highlight how accurate it's really become right now. So I re-zeroed to 30 yards, and that is a 5-shot group that I just did right here. Okay, so it's the morning after, and I want to do a point of impact test on this. Have not touched the gun, just refilled it a little bit, put a little more, topped it off to about 200, and going to shoot at the same distance, same ammo, same everything, and let's see if it kept the same point of impact as we had yesterday, which was pretty much on. Wow, that even impressed me. It's actually pretty good. It's taken a lot to get here, but I am really happy that it's finally shooting well, and it kept the same point of impact. That kind of gives me the confidence if I'm going to be hunting from day to day to be able to pick up the gun and take a shot on a critter without injuring it and making it suffer, things of that nature. So yeah, absolutely. I'm happy with it now. Okay, and I hope that FX can make some improvements in the original design of all this and make it work out for people that want to shoot .177 and not have to have these struggles that I have been through. Okay, so what is my particular conclusion with the FX, their branding, their STX system, etc.? I think that this thing has enormous potential. I think that the quality control has missed the mark somewhat, and there's certainly some issues that they need to work through instead of sort of like, brushing the stuff, under the table and claiming that the STX is the best thing there is and then coming up with something, but this one's even better. You know, I wish FX the very best. They're a great company, and they're always innovating, as I said before, and that's fantastic. But I think that some ownership needs to be taken of some of these issues that do occur. There's a lot of people out there, and I'm sure I'm gonna get a whole bunch of comments. A lot of fanboys out there that you cannot say anything wrong about their favorite brand. This is not against anybody in particular. If you have an FX gun that is out shooting everything else on the market, I'm extremely happy for you, and I'm glad that you are. But if you're amongst one of those who has struggled with these guns and have had issues, and just go ahead, leave a comment, and let it be what it is. I feel that sometimes some guys will cover up the reality so that they're probably gonna go ahead and sell the gun. They're not happy with it, and now they're gonna tell somebody, oh, it's FX accuracy, and the new buyer buys it like I did, and now you have a lemon, or you have to struggle or whatever. All right, hope some of y'all have gotten something out of this. See you in the next one.